Well, Portland police arrested a prolific graffiti vandal this morning. The Bureau says the investigation began in May after being tipped off by an unexpected source. Fox 12's Leslie Dominique joins us now live from Southeast Portland with more tonight.
Yes, Riel, the alleged vandal goes by Geimer, which stands for Graffiti is Me Escaping Reality, and police say they were motivated to find him after seeing him in a YouTube docuseries.
A bit like a puzzle. We got to put the pieces together and they led right to his door.
The Portland Police Bureau has been cracking down on graffiti vandalism for years, but they weren't curious about a graffiti artist that goes by Geimer until they saw him in a YouTube documentary.
Showing acts of vandalism on television or on YouTube, I guess, boasting and bragging about that criminal activity, and we wanted to address that.
Geimer, whose real name, according to police, is James S. Fishel, was interviewed by the Chaostown docuseries in an episode titled "Portland is Losing the Graffiti War." In the episode, Geimer took the interviewer into his home and to spots around Portland that he has tagged, all while covering his face with a cloth.
Vandalism with an artistic spin. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's not illegal.
I mean, despite trying to obscure his face, blurring that out, making sure that was cropped out of video, there were still several other distinguishing things that we used as a part of our investigation to identify Fishel in this case.
Clues like vehicles and locations that ultimately led officers to issue a search warrant for Fishel's Southeast Portland home in June. Officers say it was in Fishel's garage where they found what they were looking for.
We found the contents of that documentary.
A mural of Geimer's tag, an assortment of spray paint can tips, and more than 1,500 cans of spray paint worth more than $10,000. Fishel was arrested on Thursday. Officer Nathan Kirby-Glitowski says Portland saw a spike in graffiti in 2020, largely being influenced by the pandemic. Since then, neighborhood response teams have taken larger action.
We've had a number of notable successes, including this one this year with Geimer. And we've actually started to see the amount of graffiti in Portland start to trend down.
And Fishel has been booked into the Multnomah County Detention Center on multiple counts of criminal mischief. Live in Southeast Portland, Leslie Dominique, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, a graffiti tagger has been arrested and another identified as part of the Portland police crackdown on citywide vandalism.
And one of the artists was featured in a 2024 YouTube documentary, which helped police in their investigation. Let's get to more on that story right now.
Yes, Pete Riel, this morning the Central Precinct Neighborhood Response Team served a search warrant tied to a well-known graffiti artist known as Monk 6. Now, his tag is seen all over Portland, and while police were already familiar with him, a YouTube documentary called Chaostown helped them gather more evidence.
He's proud of it. He was featured in a documentary on YouTube that talked about the tags that he did and his pride in doing that.
Thursday morning, dozens of spray paint cans and thousands of graffiti drawings seized by PPB from a Southeast Portland home believed to be connected to a prominent graffiti artist known as Monk 6. The tagger's name can be seen on walls across the Central East Side, but he's also known for tagging spots that are extremely hard to reach. Remnants of his name are still visible on the west side of the Fremont Bridge.
There's even cases where he's been known to use like a rope to tie off below a bridge, for example. And so they're not only difficult for him to apply the tags there, but they're very difficult to remove.
Monk 6 was featured in a 2024 YouTube documentary called Chaostown. In the episode, Portland is losing the graffiti war. Although his face and voice were disguised in the video, officials say they were able to gather evidence from the footage that helped them in their investigation and ultimately in tracking him down. Also featured in that same documentary, James Fishel, who goes by the tagger name Geimer. PPB officers arrested him in January after issuing a search warrant at his Southeast Portland home.
We hear the messages from the community who say that they don't like to see all this unlawful graffiti being applied all over town. And while we can't catch them all, we can go after the most prolific ones, and that's what we're doing here.
PPB also now announcing the arrest of another graffiti vandal who goes by the name Bambi.
She is part of a larger tagging crew that has been investigated by the Central Neighborhood Response Team.
Bambi was later identified as 22-year-old Darvin V. Duffield. When a search warrant was served at her home in March, officers found a large amount of graffiti-related evidence. She later pled guilty plea in Multnomah County to 2 counts of criminal mischief in the first degree and 2 counts of criminal mischief in the second degree. PPB spokesperson Sergeant Kevin Allen reports that over the course of a year, they have identified at least 4 prominent taggers working in Portland. A frustrating and lengthy process, investigators say, that can take months, even a year, to complete.
Hoping is that they will find other ways to meet their desire to create art. We want them to do that in a legal, lawful way and not inconvenience others with their artwork.
And Duffield was sentenced to 24 months in probation, graffiti-related conditions, and ordered to pay over $10,000 in restitution. Now, police have not yet released Monk 6's real name. His case is being reviewed by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. No charges have yet been filed. For now, reporting in studio, Leslie Dominique, Fox 12 Oregon.
New at 11 tonight, Portland police say they are making progress in cracking down on graffiti taggers all across the city. And today they're releasing new information after arresting what they call a prolific graffiti vandal named Bambi, and the investigation continues tonight.
Investigators looked into dozens of Bambi tags before tracking the tagger to a house on Northwest Overton Street near 22nd Avenue. Back in March, they searched the house and recovered a large amount of graffiti evidence. Bambi, who is now identified as 22-year-old Darvin Duffield, pleaded guilty and sentenced to 24 months probation, also ordered to pay restitution of more than $16,000. We're just now learning about this arrest because it's connected to a larger investigation into another prominent graffiti vandal named Monk 6.
She has not only been arrested, but she's actually already been convicted and sentenced. We couldn't announce this before because it was related to the Monk 6 investigation, so we had to kind of hold off on putting information out there.
Monk 6 was featured on a docuseries called Chaostown, which revealed secrets about Portland's most prolific taggers. The tagger is known for graffiti in elevated spots requiring climbing skills or specialized equipment. At 7 o'clock Thursday morning, officers searched a home in the Sunnyside neighborhood of Southeast Portland looking for evidence related to Monk 6. Officers seized thousands of examples of the moniker Monk 6 and materials used in graffiti vandalism. Police say they now know who Monk 6 is, but they are not releasing his name at this time because the case is ongoing.
We have heard a tremendous amount of frustration from the community seeing all of the graffiti tags throughout the city, and we want the message to be sent to the community that we are working on it. We are doing what we can to try to address this problem.
Earlier this year, KOIN 6 investigative reporter Elise Haas did a series of stories called Taming Taggers. She gave us a closer look at the Portland Police Bureau's efforts to crack down on graffiti. And you can watch the whole series right now over at KOIN.com.
And in certain places, you do see a lot of graffiti. And if you're wondering what can you do to help, police encourage you to report graffiti and let them know whenever you see something new popping up.
You've probably noticed, but Portland is absolutely covered in graffiti.
It's a common sight in the city of Portland. Graffiti.
Graffiti. Graffiti. You might also be wondering why I'm driving this rental van, but more on that later.
You don't have to look very hard. It seems to be everywhere.
Graffiti has been in the news a lot lately.
Graffiti, seeing the extent of the problem, would lead most people to believe it's being ignored by the city.
State and local officials seem to have 3 proposed solutions to this. The first is throwing more money at it, this time to the tune of $4 million. The second is arresting graffiti writers.
We're going to come and hold you accountable.
And the newest strategy, making it easier to charge property owners if they don't clean up graffiti on their own walls. You've heard why graffiti is bad, but what nobody's managed to do is actually sit down and talk to the people who are writing all of it.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
So that's what our crew did.
Damn, you guys have been busy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
We also built a stealth camera van to not bring any attention to ourselves, and we captured some pretty insane shit.
What you're about to see is a rare look inside of a culture that does not like outsiders. And hopefully we'll get some answers on why exactly Portland has become a vandal's paradise.
Graffiti in Portland is a very complex problem, and local news has been trying to figure out what's happening.
Now let's talk about a big issue in downtown Portland and surrounding areas, graffiti.
Graffiti on buildings, highway signs, overpasses, and it seems to be worse than ever before.
Complaints are up. They've been rising ever since the pandemic, and that's when graffiti really took off.
Walking down this section of Southeast Powell Boulevard, it's easy to see just how out of hand things have gotten. So who dropped the ball? The news thinks it's ODOT.
Chances are you've seen more graffiti along Portland highways. That's because the Oregon Department of Transportation ran out of money back in July to clean up graffiti on Portland roadways.
While government gets its shit together, some Portlanders have decided to fix it themselves.
Right now, we're headed to meet a local graffiti cleanup vigilante of sorts, who, to put it simply, hates graffiti. So I'm gonna join on one of his weekly missions to thwart graffiti artists in Portland.
I've lived here all my life, 84 years, all my life here in Portland. Well, we're gonna head up the street up here. We're just gonna watch for it. As I see it, we'll try to pull over and see if we got some parking.
So what is it about graffiti that upsets you so much?
Well, it just ruins everything. They destroy properties, they destroy the look of a business. It just looks terrible.
So have you heard of the term buffing before?
No.
It's a term actually that graffiti artists use to describe basically what you do, painting over, buffing over their work. Why do you think buffing is the solution to graffiti, to just covering it up?
You got to get rid of it totally.
So how long have you been just going around covering up graffiti?
Well, I've been doing this for about 4 years now. It just exploded here after the pandemic hit.
All right, we're done and off to the next, huh?
Yeah. It's reached a point where it's just everywhere. It's horrible.
So we've already seen Michael hit probably about 5 spots so far. He seems very dedicated. We've kind of just stopped off on the side of the road, thrown up our emergency lights, and he paints over whatever, mailboxes, walls, private property. I mean, we've actually been having a hard time getting a moment to talk to him, because as soon as he's done with one piece, he's back in the car looking for the next spot to cover up. I'm assuming you got a lot of different colors back there, maybe, to try to match whatever you're painting?
I've got about 6, 7 colors in the car.
All right, can I see the paint that you brought with you?
Yeah, there you go, right there. It's got green, blue, 3 kinds of gray, black, white.
How much money do you think you spend on paint?
Anywhere from $50 to $85 a month on paint. I can take 50 cans of paint and try to match it the best I can, but I just want to get rid of it.
So, I mean, with as much time as you spend doing this, I mean, do you get a rush?
No, I just hate graffiti. Okay. I think it's ruining this city, and I at least we're getting their attention a little bit now, where they want to try to do something. I wrote a letter back in 2021 to the mayor, got no action. There seems to be no response from the politicians about what to do about this problem.
So that lack of a city response, is that kind of why you felt like the responsibility lands on you?
Well, yeah, I don't understand why they don't respond to it. They're going the wrong way. You know, we've got not only the graffiti problem, but you've got the drug problem. It's just one of the other problems that never gets solved.
I mean, do you see yourself just continuing to do this as long as you can?
Yeah, I want to do everything I can to stop it.
So there doesn't seem to be anything that can dissuade you from...
No, not me. No, not me, no.
But what is one man and a small box of spray paint really up against in Portland? I was about to find out. Today is a very exciting day. After almost 4 months of back-channeling local sources and a ton of off-the-record meetings, I've finally found a Portland graffiti writer willing to talk to me on camera. Right now, I'm headed to an undisclosed rally point, and from there, he's going to take me back to his secret stash for an interview. There is a lot of paint in here.
Yes, sir.
Can you kind of just run me through everything you got here?
Basically, we stockpile this shit. We try to color coordinate it. So I got some browns over here. Got some white. Look at that.
And this is probably I mean, if I had to guess, 3,000 cans of paint in this whole
easy.
area? How much money worth of paint am I looking at here?
Just for the fancy shit, man, 8 to 10 grand for everything in here. There's probably twice as much Rust-Oleum in this room.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically anything that you could possibly need for a mission. We got bags, ladders. Over here we have paint rollers, paint gloves, every tip you could ever imagine. Hand warmers if it's cold out. Some stickers, paint sprayer, bug spray, hand soap, headlamp.
I mean, I can't imagine there's much you can't find in here.
Anything you need, man. You know, this is a collective of artists, and this is pretty much every graffiti writer's fantasy.
All right, to start, what do you write?
I write Geimer.
How did you come up with that name?
It's more of an acronym than it is a name. Each letter stands for something to me. Graffiti is me escaping reality, and that's really what it is. It's like a superhero role. You know, you're putting on a cape and you're going to do something that you believe is right. My alter ego was created right then and there.
How long have you been writing in Portland?
Over 20 years. Chances are if you live in Portland, you've heard about me. And that's not an ego. It's just, you know, you put your heart into something and people are gonna shake hands with you at some point. We're right here in Portland, Oregon. Burnside Skate Park's over here. Union Pacific Train Yard, Convention Center Towers over here. I've always just gone out to do one good spot. I'm not necessarily a bomber. I'm more like a spot connoisseur. Something like this, I'm gonna have to think about it. I'll take a photograph actually. But yeah, I mean, look, there's dead traffic behind me. They have no choice but to look at this right now. And then there's another bridge up top. They can see it as well. So, I mean, picking a spot that you can see from multiple different places, that's ideal for a graffiti writer. That's the first step right there.
Is graffiti your outlet? What does it do for you personally?
Yeah, it's an outlet. That's where I put all of my pain, my happiness, my free time. I'll sacrifice a whole night of sleep to go create one thing that I put out into the public that people may or may not like. And then I go about my life. That's what I use it for. It isn't just for me. I want everyone to see it, whether they like it or not. City officials, police officers, kids on the school bus, everybody. And regardless if they want to, they're gonna have to. And if they want to clean it up, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not doing it to be up forever. I'm doing it for the time being. And it makes me feel good, you know? It's good for my soul.
In your mind, is what you do art or vandalism?
Vandalism with an artistic spin. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's not illegal. There is a law that says changing the color of a wall that does not belong to you, that holds a penalty. If it's over $1,000 in damage, that gives you a felony, right? That'll affect your ability to get a job for the rest of your life. And the only thing it's hurting are the people who disagree with it. It's hurting their eyes. We're gonna walk this little curve that kind of curls around so I can show you guys this crew shot. I'll probably come back and put a neon yellow outline around the outside of those letters. That's called a wrap or a shell. This official dude's walking over towards us. Let's keep moving.
How did COVID affect the graffiti scene?
Fuck, man. COVID brought everybody back into the game. Everyone thought the world was over, you know? People were going through some personal problems during COVID. You could see it because people who had never done graffiti started jumping in. You know, you could tell, who is this guy? It made Portland a hot spot. It made Seattle a hot spot. It made Los Angeles, all these places that had finally figured out the graffiti problem, it all came back. COVID made graffiti more popular.
Besides there being more writers than ever in Portland, there's something else making removal difficult.
Have you ever been walking around the city and you stopped and looked up and saw a piece of graffiti that made you wonder, how the fuck did that get up there?
Well, it's a trend that has origins in Brazil, but got big in Europe, where writers rappel down seemingly impossible spots.
Obviously, I needed to see how this was done, so I started making some calls. However, if our crew wanted to get any of this on camera, we needed to be sure that we were just as stealth as the writers.
So we had an idea. We rented a van, paid for the extra insurance coverage, and defiled the shit out of it.
Yep, here it is, mission control.
Damn, you guys have been busy, huh?
Oh yeah, so through this LED strip up top, this is all powered off of this bad boy, this one battery.
Oh, tight squeeze. Oh, I fit. Oh yeah.
Surprisingly.
This is gonna be our home for a minute, huh?
Oh yeah, for the mission. So our monitor, so you can watch, it's right here. Then we got the switcher right here. And then you can just see my feed right here.
We got a little, we got a lookout camera there?
Yeah, we got a little lookout camera right here. This is the Osmo. Got that clamped up top. I have this little rig right here. And then, yeah, we can essentially,
see anybody coming up on mission
even
control.
the back. That's it. So we should be good to go.
God damn.
Pretty hyped for it. Yeah, so basically we built this mission control just to keep it as low as possible. We do not want to attract any attention at all. Get what we can, get our shots, bust out.
At this point, the Chaostown van was ready, but we just needed the green light to go film the act. While we waited, I wanted to find out exactly why cleaning up graffiti in Portland was so difficult. So I went to speak to an expert.
It is currently 5:38 in the morning, the earliest I've been awake in maybe 10 years. If you're wondering what the fuck I'm doing awake that early in the morning, that is a great question, and I have a great answer. I'm headed to meet the Tony Stark of buffing. He is a local businessman who owns a graffiti removal company and a line of graffiti removal chemicals. How's it going?
What's up, man?
Jameson.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
You mind giving me like a tour of the truck?
Yeah, sure. So the great thing about our setups is all of our trucks run with hot pressure washing units. So just like washing dishes and washing grease and grime and stuff like that, it's a lot easier when you have hot water.
So it's a pretty spendy setup.
Oh, it's very spendy. Yeah, I mean, these units here, you're probably talking $9 grand. It's not a Home Depot model.
So graffiti is a big business in some sense.
Unfortunately, it's a big business. I mean, on the height of the summers, we have 25 employees here. So they're out there cleaning every day.
And do you guys hit like all the bridges, the freeways, all those big pieces that we see?
No, I would like to, but within every city, there's different multiple agencies, right?
Okay.
So even though there's graffiti in all of Portland, there's county, state, federal, there's USPS. I mean, all these different agencies have their own different responsibilities. So they're very territorial.
So it's a lot of red tape.
Oh my gosh, it's so much red tape. Okay, 28th and Hawthorne. Customer will call in, we'll create a work order, we'll put the address where the graffiti is at, and then we attach also pictures to make sure we know what the guys are cleaning. So we're gonna go out today and we'll get it done.
So we just linked up with Paul Watts from Graffiti Removal Services. It is now 7 a.m., but we are now rolling off to the first spot to see how he removes the graffiti around Portland. So what are we hitting today?
So we have, one of the contracts we have is a private contract is with Safeway. And under this maintenance contract, they'll clean any graffiti that they see out here, no matter how many times they get hit. So there's some right there. Don't really know what it says.
Looks like a quick job.
But it's not art. So here, there. This is actually really light.
A light graffiti.
A light graffiti, right. We take before and afters of everything because we have to prove to the property owner we actually took the tag off. And we measure everything. So we can tell you how many square feet we've removed in the city of Portland over how many years.
Do you think that graffiti in Portland is as bad as it's ever been?
It's as bad as it's ever been. Some of the times when we take down graffiti on a private property or a building, it'll be back up within hours.
And would you say there's maybe hundreds or thousands of square feet of graffiti in the city?
I would probably say millions.
Millions?
Yeah.
Voila.
Voila.
The thing that's the most surprising to me is how quick the turnaround is for this cleanup. That these guys are out here cleaning up all this graffiti, and days, hours later, it's covered back up.
In December of last year, Governor Kotek unveiled the Portland Central City Task Force. Included in the plan was a request of the Oregon legislature for a $20 million budget increase for ODOT. In March, they approved it.
You've seen the graffiti, but those eyesores will soon be gone, thanks to a
$20 million boost to tackle graffiti and littering and clean up homeless camps.
$4 million will be used for graffiti removal. It'll happen.
All of this made me wonder, is throwing money at ODOT really a long-term fix? Is buffing the solution to graffiti, or do you think there's other components?
The removal part of it is just one small little aspect of that. You have the enforcement, you have the codes, you have the laws that come into effect. You have to pull all those components together to actually make it an effective program. If you rely on one agency just to do everything, it's never going to get done.
Can you walk me through a little bit of how you've noticed graffiti kind of evolve, throughout the years being in Portland?
10, 12 years ago, the city was really staffed up in the police department on, they would have its own graffiti task force team. So we would actually meet twice a month, identify taggers, we would talk about problem areas in the city. So there was really a big proactive approach to it. But as the city grew and graffiti grew, and then a couple firestorms broke out, they had other bigger fish to fry. They were going after gun violence and the fentanyl crisis and the riots that were going on. And I just think graffiti got kind of set aside a little bit.
What makes the graffiti in Portland different, than other cities?
There's no consequence. The laws nowadays, you physically almost have to catch them in the act. Cameras don't work because you can't see their face. They're always covering their face. You don't know where they're gonna tag, right? At what specific time. So you can't have somebody out there sitting out there waiting for them all the time. And I think it's just kind of traveled on the West Coast that Portland has the lack of enforcement, that graffiti vandals will come up and down I-5 and know that Portland is a place to stop, unfortunately.
We are off Sandy in Northeast Portland right now at the spot called Katie O'Brien's, a bar. Paul got a call about some graffiti he needs to clean up, and little does he know, actually 2 of the artists we've been talking to, he is cleaning up their pieces as we speak. There's a monk piece on the back of that billboard up there. He's not getting that one today, but the bottom one, that's getting cleaned up right now as we speak. It's your job to clean up graffiti, obviously, but what are your personal feelings about it?
Look, we don't have a personal vendetta against taggers or graffiti. That's not our business. That's not our model. People always ask me, do I get, frustrated because we think we're fighting an endless battle? It's not a battle to us. It's just our job. It's just what we do. I don't have a personal angst against any of them. That's just their culture. Not my culture, but it's theirs. So I don't harbor any ill will. I just wish it wouldn't happen.
Can you tell me a little bit about this article here?
Yeah, there's a bunch of questionable graffiti on here. Yeah, this building has gotten a lot of love, but it's just an abandoned building. I don't understand why they keep putting it on the cover of the newspaper. It's kind of strange.
That's been on the cover a lot, hasn't it?
It sure has.
Why do you think graffiti has been in the local news so much?
Everyone's sick of how the streets and the freeways look, and they want to show from your fancy condo to the garage, to your other garage, to your work, that little space and time when you go down the freeway, look what we did, fix what we can see. The freaks that come out at night, no one has to see that. But I'm not pointing a finger at people because they lost their homes or they have a drug problem. Graffiti writers are freaks too.
What in the world are these?
Those are for putting out fires. We put paint in them.
So, okay.
I've never put a fire out in my life with a fire extinguisher.
I'm assuming at one point they put out fire, maybe?
Yeah, far as I know. Since they've been in my possession, they've just been, used to express.
What our crew saw next is perhaps one of the biggest reasons Portland has become a vandal's paradise, and nobody's talking about it. The city is a completely different place at night. It's fucking dead.
Found a bag of human shit right here.
Yeah, I picked up a bag and it had human shit in it.
Fred Meyer bag had human shit in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fuck, man.
What do you guys have to do?
Just do a little project, man.
Doing some vandalism.
Oh, that shit is quagged out, isn't it?
Yeah, that's thicker than a Snicker, bro.
So what he's doing here is Pouring the paint in the funnel. All right, we gotta add some water probably. And give it a couple turns like that. See it. Filling up a fire extinguisher with paint and water and shaking it up and pressurizing it. And then the boys are going out, putting up some letters and heavy pressure.
I think you probably have a very interesting perspective about nighttime Portland.
We see shit that nobody should ever have to see. Oh, there goes a rat. You see that shit?
Yeah.
There he goes right there. There's human shit, there's needles, there's fires, there's people talking to nobody, banging their heads against walls. It's less than desirable conditions for the people living in it, let alone people that can stumble upon it. So for the media to point the finger at graffiti writers, calling us pieces of shit, saying that we're fucking the city up, they need to take a really good look at what's going on. The real problem's fentanyl. Every single person in Portland, Oregon has been affected by fentanyl. Show me one person who doesn't think it's a problem. Well, let's fight graffiti, man. Never mind that pile of needles that we had to step over to do the graffiti, and then the mattress with the rats eating it. I can't even count on two hands how many people I've lost to fentanyl. You know, graffiti writers are taking a huge hit. Yikes.
Yo, that's crazy.
Pretty wild. We're still allowed to paint now. Okay, cool. As long as there's homeless people smoking fat on the street, graffiti is legal. Man, a lot of young kids have lost their lives, and a lot of them were really talented, and that was their way of expressing themselves was graffiti, so that's all we have left is the paintings that they left behind. And people are worried about cleaning that shit up, not the thing that took the kid away who was doing the graffiti.
I'm gonna run across with you so we can look out, but we're gonna have to stand on that median. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
If you don't fix the people who have chemical dependencies who are making the trash and the human filth, you're just cleaning something up so it can happen again. Do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's insanity. So what they're doing is they're publicly voicing how insane they are. Cleaning up trash, moving tents, painting over graffiti is a $20 million Band-Aid on the real problem, which is fentanyl.
This city's so fucking corrupt and losing our thing. They're out of funds to buff our shit, but if they're not buffing our shit, then they're not helping the homeless. What the fuck are they doing? They ain't doing shit.
There's a zoner.
Oh, that's a zoner. Shit.
That's a good spot right there, boy.
Some retail shit?
That's a monk and a zoner.
And then we finally got the call we've been waiting for. A chance to film a graffiti rappel with one of the youngest and most ambitious writers in Portland. He agreed to be interviewed under the condition that we electronically altered his voice.
Thanks for sitting down with me. To start off, what do you write?
I write Monk 6.
And how did you come up with that name?
There's a famous jazz pianist named Thelonious Monk. 6 is just a number that I like, so I added it onto the end, kind of distinguish myself in case there's other monks out there.
How often do you get out and paint these days?
Honestly, it varies. Sometimes if I have a lot of paint, I'll go out like most of the nights in a week.
Is graffiti an addiction?
I'd say I'm a little bit addicted, yeah.
From what I can tell, graffiti is a little bit of a sport between writers, you know, kind of a competition. Do you see it at all that way?
Definitely think it's a sport. Seeing other dudes get out there and kill it motivates me to get out there and kill it.
Because there's a lot of writers in Portland, there's a lot of, I guess what you would say, competition. Is that kind of what drives you to seek out those super high, super dangerous spots?
I just like putting my stuff up there. I think it looks better, like to anybody, whether they're a graffiti writer or a normal person. If you see a fucking rappel like graffiti, then most of the time you're like, what the hell? Like, it's mind-blowing to see that. So it's a little bit driven by competition, but mainly I just like seeing my work there.
What you're about to see is maybe one of the most daring things ever filmed in Portland. And it would be a really good idea to not try any of this shit at home.
It is 11:45, and I am currently driving the newly minted Chaostown van on its maiden voyage. I just got word that Monk is going to be hitting the Fremont Bridge, so I'm going to take you there right now. I'm going to try to park this thing somewhere discreet so that Cruz and our drone op can get out there and shoot what happens next. Fingers crossed, this all goes well. How long have you been writing in Portland?
About 3 years now. I started in 2020 when there was a huge protest movement here in Portland. That's what originally got me interested in it.
How do you typically get paint to write?
I buy it usually. I used to rack a little bit.
And what's racking for those at home?
Taking paint without buying it. Basically right now, I'm just looking at the headlights of the cars coming towards me to see if they're the police cruiser headlights.
What is it about the act of graffiti that keeps you going out and doing it? I mean, despite the risks.
I think it's inherently anti-capitalist. It's out of the societal norm. It's against the status quo. You're saying, like, fuck you to all that. Especially like people that only rack their paint, you know? You're not paying for the supplies that you use. You don't get anything from painting, you know? It's just for you. Well, would you look at that?
It seems like a form of protest.
I think when it comes down to it, at least for me, even if I'm not literally writing political slogans on something, I think just the act of doing graffiti and putting art somewhere out in the public illegally, I think that's political. Alright, hopefully nobody thinks I'm fucking committing suicide. In order to get down there, I actually have to climb right there.
So we found a quiet spot to park the van. I just hopped in the back. Monk is getting set up on the bridge. I'm just sitting here watching the feed, waiting for him to get started. It's kind of sinking in right now. I mean, I'm more worried for him than anything because this is way high off the fucking ground, man.
Fuck, man. That was ridiculous.
All right, Cruz just zoomed in. I see something happening. It looks like he's between the two sections of the bridge. I think I could kind of see his feet moving around up there. So because you've only been writing for a few years, does being new kind of put a chip on your shoulder? Does it motivate you more to get your name out there?
Yeah, definitely, because you gotta earn respect. You gotta earn a name for yourself. I'm still definitely a bit of a newbie. Like, there's dudes that have been doing it for decades.
It looks like he's getting ready to propel right now. He's fucking going over, man. I'm a little nervous just watching this, to be honest.
Good, alright. Yeah, let's fucking do this shit. There we go. I first discovered rappelling because there's a writer here in Portland who writes Glore. He was the first one that I had ever seen do rappels. And then I just went to a rock gym one time when I was on a trip in another part of the country. And I went up to the owner of the gym and I was like, how much do I gotta pay you to teach me how to rappel? And he was like, $90. So I paid him $90 to tell me how to rappel, told me all the gear I needed. And then, like in the months after that, I acquired all the gear.
Damn, he's rappelling like low. And he's looking down and he's just hanging out. I mean, I would be shitting myself up there on that rope. How confident were you like the first time you went out there with your gear and
I was confident. I trust myself and I trust the process of rappelling. I don't push myself too hard to do anything that I'm not capable of doing.
Cruz has gone a little wider, so now you can kind of get a picture of not only just how big the piece is, but how massive this bridge is. And Monk is just this tiny little speck hanging in the middle of it. You know, a lot of the messaging we get from people as far as graffiti goes, you know, it's messing up the city. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Graffiti's called vandalism, but I don't think it's vandalism like breaking a window is, because they're taking something out of that space and they're doing something destructive. If you go paint graffiti on something, you're adding something to that space. And I would encourage people to just think about it differently.
So a car just drove by, the camera kind of shook for a second and got off Monk. It's not a cop, but my heart kind of jumped for a second.
Probably still die.
So we have been here, cramped in this fucking van for about an hour and a half now. I think he's just about done shaping everything out, and I mean, it's cold as fuck in here, so I can't imagine how freezing he must be dangled off of that bridge. Is buffing a deterrent to what you do?
It's definitely just part of the game. I kind of view graffiti writer's relationship with the buff man as a symbiotic relationship. You know, it sucks when spots get buffed, but they're also providing us with fresh walls, and we're providing them with a job.
So I think he's done filling everything out. Appears as though he is shimming his way back up to the top, outlining as he goes. He's burning now. In March, the Oregon legislature approved $20 million for an increase of the ODOT budget, $4 million of that just to clean up graffiti. Do you feel as though a project like that is just creating a clean slate?
Yeah, that's how it's always been. People are just going to go out there and paint it again. The city's going to come buff it again. It's like a never-ending cycle.
So it kind of sounds like we're just lighting $4 million on fire. Do you have any impression that it's going to permanently impact how often people go out there and write?
No. Cleaning up the graffiti is going to do much other than maybe help the city officials think that Portland as an image looks less criminal. And graffiti is a great scapegoat for that, because it's always associated with other crime. I don't think that if they actually crack down on graffiti, it would do anything to prevent other crime.
There's an insane increase in activity around here, so I don't know if people are driving around or if it's actually late enough that people are starting to come back to work, but it looks like he's just finishing up. I guess one of the most energizing aspects of this whole moment is that we've spent months and months and months crawling our way into this community, trying to get them to trust us and let us follow them around to get this done. And I guarantee you, tomorrow morning when people are driving, they're gonna look up at that thing and think, how the hell are these kids climbing up to these spots just to put graffiti up there? So, I mean, it really gives you a lot of insight as to how motivated these guys are to paint Portland. It definitely puts the issue into a much different light for me, personally.
On April 17th, Governor Kotek signed the bill, and ODOT contractors started buffing the very next day. As of the publishing of this documentary, Monk's Beast is still there, running on the Fremont Bridge. See you all in season 2. Thanks for watching.